Hey guys, this is Echo Soundworks with ADSR, and you're checking out a production/sound design tip and trick tutorial video. So I wanted to do this video for a couple reasons. First, I haven't seen too many videos or even articles where they talk about this idea. And second, I got a lot of questions on how I did something in a sound design demo, and I wanted to answer that for you guys. So let's just talk about first about what this tutorial is going to be about. It's going to be about playing whether it's a melody, a glitch sound, or a sound that's just an accent sound, playing it really low. And by really low, what I mean is playing at like C-2, C-1 range. Maybe taking a lead sound and playing it down much lower than it's intended to ever go from a sound design perspective. So a good example of that are these last two patches down here that I am going to color right now. So you can see I'll color those bright pink. So I'm going to play this little drop section for you, and then we're going to dissect the different sounds, and then we're going to look at how you can do that, or what I did basically inside the synth. Okay, so it's a trap drop, right? And this technique works especially well for like future house, even deep house sometimes, trap, dubstep, anything that's bass heavier. You want some crazy sounds. So let's look at these different, this section down here. I called it drop ear candy, and it's all in a drop down folder, right? So if we open this up here, what we're basically looking at it's just a bunch of MIDI tracks, right? So a lot of people wanted to see how this was done, and it's just me playing different patches. Right? And I have very little processing on these things. So I have no processing on these last two patches. And they are, in my opinion, some of the coolest sounds in this drop. And if I take them out, it's gonna lose its like this drop folder is called ear candy appeal. So let's listen to these in isolation. Right? So just really weird sounds. And there's no processing. It's all coming straight from Serum and massive. Now, this technique or this idea works best with wavetable synths, even sometimes FM synths, not typically virtual analog because they're not set up to go that low. And if they do, you barely get sound. But weird things can happen on a wavetable basis when you're quickly scanning through them at really low frequencies. So let's first look at this patch here that's called Bass Brutal Wub coming from Serum. And I'm going to open up Serum right now. And this patch is meant to be played a little bit higher. It's just like a crazy trap dubstep type sound. Right? And if we turn the LFO down. So, I mean, there's a pitch to it, a perceived pitch. Now, I know it's called bass, so we can play it down the bass range here. I'm playing that at F1. So that's definitely, if you go to pretty much any synth, any sampler, F1, a piano, or anything like that, it's pretty low. So this is set up to be fairly high-pitched for a bass. I mean, this second oscillator is at, or the first one's at +2, the second one's at -2. Our sub's only at a value of -1. So it's not super low, but where I played it, and I will open up the piano roll here, it might be kind of hard to see, so I'll zoom in on this. It's at C-2. Now it loses its perceived pitch down here. This track is in F minor. So if we go to the 808 up here, for instance, it's just posting up on an F note for the most part. Right? So that C, it's not like I was actually playing it in a necessarily key conscious fashion where I was like, okay, what's the root note? What am I playing here? It just sounded really cool and crazy. So it's at C-2, and let's play an E-2. Right? To me, there's not like a nickel's worth of difference between that and pitch. I can't hear a perceived pitch. Even if we go up to C-1, I would never be able to guess what sound that is. But if I go up to like C1, there's some pitch. I would have been able to pick out that that was a C scale. Or at least a scale, right? A major scale. But down here, nothing. And that's what's really cool. So that's what's going on with that first one. And the second one is even more of a, I guess, a better example of this technique. And we're going to be looking at massive for this. So this patch is called Lead Tomcat. It was meant to be a lead. Right? So it's like a lead sound. Now, what I did was I just played this one down real low. And it's being played down, if we go here, it's being played at, it's in the 0 range, it's at F0. That sound is so dope. And I can actually hear the pitch down there. But it gets a little bit wonky, right? It doesn't sound perfect. So let's go down to C-1. Let's go down to C-2. Right, it's kind of cool, even at that C-2 range. Now, I did play this one a little bit higher, but let's turn on the modulation oscillator inside of Massive, and I've pitched that down to -64, and then the pitch, I've pitched it down to -64 using a noise LFO, and it's being applied to our third oscillator, which isn't the main oscillator on this sound. Now, let's listen to it as we go through this. Let's go down really low. Right, just some really weird sounds. So if I took these two sounds out of this drop, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. And all it came from was playing some patches really low. So if you're searching for like some ear candy type sounds in your drops, try opening up some patches that you've made or that you have and playing them down in that -2, -1, even in the 0 range. And you might be surprised by the results that you get. If you have any questions or comments, let me know below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm Echo Soundworks. I'll see you guys next time.